Okay, so this is the second video on the day talking about the same player. And it's obvious that the video prior to this video was pre-recorded and uploaded last night. Yeah, spoiler alert, I do videos in advance. It's kind of a crux sometimes when things like this ends up happening, but for 95% of the time it doesn't actually harm anything, but this is the odd time where it kind of comes to bite me in the behind. And I was thinking, I could make a comment in that prior video going over what happened and just make a little assessment there. But then I was like, nah, this is a big thing. This is a really big thing. And it sucks. This is the worst news possible. And I feel like we can justifiably make a video about it because this is just such a huge topic. The Montreal Canadiens have some terrible news from earlier today. Cole Caufield's out for the rest of the season. Oh my goodness, there are so many elements that you can talk about with the Montreal Canadiens right now, from the frequency of injuries to the Bedard sweepstakes, and I guess you could talk about the guys that also were placed under the IR today. Okay, take a look at the article published on the Canadiens website. Caufield suffered a season-ending injury to his right shoulder and will undergo surgery in the near future. An update of his recovery period will be issued after the medical procedures. Forward Jonathan Drouin has been placed on the IR retroactively to January 16th, and the Canadiens have also recalled forward Alex Belzile from the AHL's Laval Rocket. There was a joke made on Twitter that the Canadiens are not going to be able to make any trades. And the reason for that is because they don't have any guys to put in the lineup after guys get traded away. Like, this is ridiculous. We made the video about Slafkovsky, and there have been a lot of other ones. Like, we have not made as many videos as we can, Like, there are other things in the NHL going on, and I don't want to make videos every time somebody gets injured and talk about how it's a bad thing, because it's a bad thing, like it happens. But if I decided to make a video every single time a Montreal Canadien got injured, I'd be here all week, or not all week, all year. It's been happening the whole season, and this is another one where it hurts. Like, the Slafkovsky one hurt, which is why we made the video talking about him and Wright, because Wright's season was also done. He got sent down. Slafkovsky's season is done. He's injured for 3 months, pretty much, right? Caufield is the most exciting player on the team, and he is out for the rest of the year, too. Let's go over onto some other tweets talking about the situation here. Eric Engel says this: I just spoke with Cole Caufield's agent Pat Brisson, who says the decision to pull him now will ensure he's back at 100% for the next training camp. As for contract talks, he said they'll continue. We're good. Now, speaking of those contract talks, we had just made a video a few hours ago, or for me it was last night. Last night I lost my patience, and for you it was a few hours ago, but we had talked about the Matt Boldy contract, the 7x7 extension handed out by the Minnesota Wild, and how that is lower than what the Montreal Canadiens would be able to give Caufield, because Caufield, should he get $7 million AAV, would probably want an on-a-bridge deal, or if Caufield getting a 7-year deal is the case, he probably wants more than $7 million. So essentially, Caufield is more expensive than Matt Boldy, but last night we also highlighted that it all sort of comes down to Caufield being better than Boldy, ending the season off with more points than Boldy, because he was on pace to getting 46 goals on the year. He was on pace for 60-something points. Earlier on in the season, he was on pace for like 50-something, 55 goals-ish, back when the Canadiens were actually performing all right. Now everybody is not producing and everything on the team is not going well, so seeing this Caufield injury strike in the time that it has makes a very interesting little benchmark in the conversations regarding his contract. You also had this quote made by Martin St. Louis. Cole Caufield was injured earlier this season. He was evaluated after each game. We got more details last night. With the information we got last night, we had to make a decision, and we got there today. So, Marty St. Louis, he's going out there spitting the truth. This has been a thing for a while. Renaud Lavoie says the same thing, that Caufield was injured for a while. I remember seeing him coming back in pain at the bench a few times. I never imagined it was that serious. And so for Cole Caufield, this is the end of the season. That's it. He finishes off 2022-2023 with 46 games played and 36 points. His season last year remains his career high in terms of points and assists. He had 20 assists and 23 goals last year in 67 games played, 10 assists and 26 goals this year. So even though he had more goals, he had significantly fewer assists. However, he did so in 20 fewer games played. And I mean, ultimately, it was a good enough year to say that Caufield should get a good contract. He was on pace for 46 goals, for crying out loud, on the team like the Montreal Canadiens. But everything we had said in the prior video about how Caufield, should he continue to being as good as he is going to be the first Canadiens 40-goal scorer in a while. I mean, I guess I kind of jinxed it in the old video, right? Actually, I take that back. Nobody in the comment section of this video is going to go out there and say that I jinxed it, because they already said this Caufield thing had been going on for a while. This is not an immediate, like, out-of-nowhere thing. He has been apparently hurt for some time now. I don't know how long, but he's been hurt. So I guess it's a good decision now. Like, if there's any time to go out there and shut this guy down for the year, it's now. Like, this is crunch time. This is Connor Bedard tanking time. The Montreal Canadiens losing out on everybody that's kind of important on their roster. Spare Nick Suzuki, knock on wood. This is gonna really hurt their tankathon odds. Or not hurt, improve their tankathon odds, excuse me. Because if you get rid of probably the best goal scorer on the team already, who has such a bright future ahead of him, this is ultimately going to be a bloodbath, and I am not really here for it. I don't really want to go out there and watch Canadiens games where they're going to be losing time in and time again. I mean, Nick Suzuki's point production is going to suffer as a result. Like, you can't tell me that's not going to be the case here. Nick Suzuki throwing it out and passing it to a guy like Cole Caufield is much different than Nick Suzuki going out there and passing it to a guy like, I don't know, Josh Anderson or Mike Hoffman. Like, Cole Caufield's just better. He built different, 100%. Now if you go to the Canadiens and their elite prospects page, look at all the crosses on the names. Not crosses because they passed away, but crosses because they're injured. Caufield, Monahan, Cooley, Drouin, Evans, Slafkovsky, Gallagher, Armia, and you have Paul Byron over there too. Like, this sucks, bro. This is so bad. But I don't know what perspective to lean on, that this helps out the Bedard sweepstakes or that this prohibits Kent Hughes from being able to make any trades, because the players on the team just come in such a small quantity nowadays. And like, I feel like if there are trades made, because there's so few players in the roster in general, you're going to have to call up Laval guys, and that makes your team even worse when it comes to the tanking for Connor Bedard. Like, this may be the most stealthy, unintentional, hey, we just happen to be here type of tanking that we have seen in a while from any of these NHL teams in any of these years. Like, if there was a year to go out there and shut Cole Caufield down in January, this was the year. Health permitting, of course, but this was the year to go out there and do that, because of how significantly it will help your team's record be bad in the next few months. So talk in the comments your thoughts about Cole Caufield and him being out. I know some of y'all were in the comment section of the last video trolling, and I get it, you know, it happens. It comes with the territory of pre-recording videos on a sport that changes so drastically during certain periods of time like hockey does, but thoughts in the comment section below either way. I hope you enjoyed this video. Trolls 99, and bye.